Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to my website, StockBookie.com, sign up for a free membership, and you get more videos like this. And you'll get emails when we do our live sessions. We've been doing them all weeks for a couple hours. We've been finding some good stuff, making some money. Sign up, come to the live session, and let's have some fun and try to make some money, guys. All right, daily chart on the SPY, and what a day it was. A little bit of a whipsaw Wednesday here, or actually whipsaw Thursday, actually. Gosh, days are going by pretty quick, but I want to go into the 10-minute really quick. So we're kind of floating around in no volume, and all of a sudden, we started coming in. We came right down to the 36 dollar or 236 even number, and also it was a low pivot right down in here, so that's where you caught some support. It did flush through it a little bit, but it was only 25-cent flush, and then boom, straight up, and wow, what an up move this was. That was pretty not epic, but gosh, 82 cents, almost a buck up in the last hour and a half. That was just magical, guys. So you have to keep watching for that. Still 90 million on a day. Volume picked up a little bit. There a little bit of selling, but saved it. Reason it saved it, 20 MA, lower pivot, even number. It had to bounce. And also you had the 250 retrace here on the short pivot here, going up into the high pivot on there. So we faded a little bit nice. Now we got the bounce. Do we bounce right back up and continue up? We'll see. And just have to be patient with these markets. Tomorrow will be the weekly close, so we'll look at the weekly tomorrow. Let's get right into the IWM. IWM was a weak horse, and it continues to be the weak horse, as well as the IYT. This one is pulling back. So every time it got into this 240 level up here, and it came off a pretty good bullish pattern, just couldn't do it. Came back. Now that we closed below the 50 MA and we just filled this gap here. It was a pretty good area as well on the IWM. Same thing, it did the bounce, but it filled the gap right into 135.02. And then got the bounce, but it was a short-lived bounce. It's up a little bit after hours now. Some markets are catching a little bit, it looks like, but who knows? There's just not enough volume here to really care. But the daily chart, again, looking a little bit weak, but again, coming into support. If it does continue to fall, look for double bottom around the 133 area. If it does good through there, then you're probably going to fill this gap down here at 130, 131 or so, and then the pivot. And there's also a gap down here, and then the 200 MA. So keep an eye on the the IWM and the Russell. This really starts to slip. Expect the markets to slip right behind it, basically. The Qs. The Qs again, just staying buoyant. You know what? Everyone probably bought puts up here. Oh, this thing's got to pull back. So let's hold it for about 2.5 weeks or so and just kill the puts. And then can't even fill the gap today, and it's still bounced up. But light volume, it came in a little bit more. You have to respect it. Still above the MAs. This one's a little bit stronger than the rest of the indexes. But the IWM is pretty much the weak horse of the group. Q's still fine. Amazon's still green, Google's green, all those are going all right, so that's going to hold it up. The IBB was up a buck, so that helped this one out. So, and the IBB caught a great bid at the end of the day. That was another trade that right around 300 on the day, we told people to go short in our live session, and it actually dropped about $4, so that was another good one there. Let's see, DIA. Same thing, almost filled the gap. I think this one, I would have to look at the 10-minute, but still, what a bounce on the 10-minute. Let's go to that real quick. Right, same thing. We come to the 208 area, and boom, like a trampoline, boing, 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 and then boing. So, daily chart. Still strong above the MAs, nothing wrong. If it starts to slide, look for the 20 MA. If it goes through that, you got a gap, a little pivot, and then so on and so forth. We'll wait for pattern stuff. But for all I know, we go right back up. Maybe we retest the highs and then continue up to the 215, maybe 220 area. Who knows? At this point, though, slightly bearish. Let's see what kind of a setup it does and goes, or do we go straight up or straight down? We'll see when the time comes. Tomorrow, we'll tell a big story. It's the jobs report. I don't know, they're going to massage it probably right in perfect, where it's just going to be like, oh, wow, not too good, not too bad. But hey, you know what? We'll wait on more data. But again, the IYT, just like the IWM or Russell, usually those are the leaders, and now they're both starting to lag. So be careful. It did have a shallow pullback here, popped up, about the same retrace. But here's the line in the sand. If it starts cracking through this area, Probably double bottom this little pivot here, and then we got to see where the markets are going. But again, not bad. Let's see if it reverses and goes up tomorrow with the markets, or this time does it fall? Does it fill the gap and hit this trend line, and then we start chopping around? Got a nice pullback off the highs. You have to respect that as a trader. If you're long, I would tighten the stops. If it starts moving up again, just follow it, and if it goes to 177, 180, then I'd start thinking about getting out. But markets look a little bit weak. You just have to keep an eye. And this one, we're back below the MAs here, still above the 200, but slightly coming in. So this area right here is going to be big for the IYT. Yeah, what else? The IYT, the USO. Heck of a day, guys. We had a great almost 4-hour session, live session. We talked about a lot of stocks. We had a great, we called not the bottom of the day, but say, hey, if you want to take a chance, take a little bit of a risk. If the market's flush, then you have to stop out. But at these certain levels, we could take this thing long, and actually it worked out really well. I did not take the trade, but I was like, if you want to step up, you know, try to get a little cash at the end of the day, you can. But for me, I had a pretty good day, covered some stocks, added some new ones, and just keep doing my thing, guys. But the USO came right into gap fill here, 618 retrace, got a little bottoming tail, have a little more volume. Right now, we're going to wait for pattern, see if we get back above this trend line here. We're still short the USO. I'm still thinking lower prices to come when these markets come in a little bit more. But right now, some pretty good support. You might get some bulls buying here, so you might get a little bit of retrace. But I'm thinking a retrace and then the next leg down. So let's look at the weekly really quick. I just want to see if there's any support. I haven't looked at this today. Yeah, it's holding on to that trend line too. Look at that bottom trend line that I have here. It's just holding on here. Weekly close is going to be important to this. I would say that probably the dollar is going to go down. Gold and oil will go up tomorrow, but who knows with the jobs report? I mean, we could just flush out. I don't even know. We're going to take it. We're going to get to the open tomorrow, get to the report, see how the market reacts, and then we're going to take what it gives us. But the UUP again, we're starting to march up, slightly bearish on the weekly chart. Nice retrace up into the 618. That's what's holding it back so far, but holding the 20 MA on the weekly. On the daily chart, nothing wrong. Slightly bearish here, but it did get above, and this is actually a choppy, sloppy, bullish pattern above the MA. So let's see if the 20 MA curls up and possibly hits it up in the price, and then this thing shoots up, fills the gap, goes to double top. Goes a little higher, 27, 21, and then 28, and then 29 area up in there. One step at a time. We got to fill the gap and get up here, and then we'll take it from there. People will be getting into positions in these things and possibly moving it up and moving it down. So expect some action tomorrow in this, gold, possibly oil in the overall markets, or it could be just a flat nothing day. I don't know what it's going to bring anymore. To me, we're in fantasy land, guys, and it's just a matter of time when we get a nice pullback. But again, we'll be bulls again, and we ride this thing back up. I don't care. Right now, I'm bearish, and eventually I'll have my bull costume on too. The UUP, so eventually that thing looks like it's going up a little bit more. Strong stance above the MAs. Still has to go back to double top, fill the gap, but right now nothing wrong with the UUP. Now the GLD, this thing's still bleeding, guys. With USO getting kicked, commodity, silver's coming down, gold's coming down. Looks like all these commodity plays are coming down. So gap fill right here around 113, 114, then you have this low pivot right around 112.86. That's what you got to look to. It might even come back to the 618. You have the 50 retrace coming up here, but let's see what tomorrow brings. This thing could shoot straight up. I just got to give it until tomorrow, and then we'll reevaluate it. And on the weekly chart as well to see how it pulled back and what support levels are coming up on that. But you still are coming here. Still a gap here, gap fill window. Nothing still wrong. Still strong. But getting back below the 50 MA and the 20 MA, but still, actually, we're below on the 200 as well daily. So we're a little bit on the weaker side, but let's give this a little more time to see, make sure we come down in here. And if we just don't bounce, once we fill this gap and maybe this low pivot, and then the 618 too. There's some gaps down here, but we'll see how this thing pulls back and see how it reacts on this pivot and this gap fill too. And then tomorrow's gonna be a big day, guys. So the jobs report, you got to be aware of it. Let's take a look at volume the first half hour and so and see what's going on. But slow and steady in these markets, because they could go straight back up or they can go straight down. And for all the market's pulled back last 5-6 days. Nothing crazy, but I could see maybe a little push up or just a flat day tomorrow. But again, we'll find out in the morning after the jobs report and see what the fireworks are. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again. Come to my live session, sign up for my StockBookie.com site, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, StockTwits, but eventually all my stuff will be on my StockBookie.com site, and you can just follow me there, and then we can take it day by day and try to make money in these markets. There's been a couple swing trades we've been covering. We've been adding more in the live sessions. Like I said, we've been doing some scalp trades, and also just looking for stocks. People are starting to see what I'm seeing, so we're looking for high flyers, stuff like that. So if these markets pull in, these high flyers will be coming down. Even if we got 5-10% on each of the trades, that's a good trade. Get in, get out, for we are short-term traders here at StockBookie.com. All right, so again, thanks again for coming to my live sessions, my videos. I really appreciate you guys watching it. I do these every night, and just because I love to do it and share my knowledge of the markets, and hopefully I can put you guys on the right side of the trade to make some money. Again, thanks for coming. God bless. See you on the charts.